Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching The Boys, Season 1, Episode 4, The Female of the Species, which suggests that maybe we're going to get to know something more about the women in the show, or maybe meet a new woman in the show. There aren't enough of them yet, so that would be good. I'm really enjoying this show so far. I definitely do not know what to expect from every episode. The strangest things happen. It's definitely a show that likes to be like, we're made for adults. Look what we just did. Which is very sweet. But I am really enjoying it, despite me thinking it's kind of funny the way they're like, woo, adult deaths. The characters are really interesting so far. I particularly so far really like Huey and Annie, Starlight, but I think there's a lot of potential with a lot of the other characters to get to know them a bit further. I liked the new guy that joined the boys so far. I mean, Butcher and Frenchie, I'm a bit kind of, I like them as characters a lot, but I'm like, where are their morals? Milk, I believe was his name until we learn his other name, unless he really is called Once Milk, seemed like a much sort of more genuine good guy. But again, there's a lot to learn from these characters, and it was good to learn a little bit more about Maeve. I despise all the male superheroes, apart from I suppose Black Noir, I believe is male. We don't know anything about him yet. But no, I'm rambling. I love this show already. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check out the unedited version up on my Patreon along with every episode. It will be already up, so you get the unedited version on Patreon, just a reminder, 2 weeks early. So up to episode 6 is already off my Patreon if you want to go and check that out. And then for the third tier, you can also get the edited version, sorry, the YouTube edited version 1 week early. So episode 5 is already up on Patreon as well if you would like to go and check that out. And as I always remind as well, Patreon is the place where new shows get voted for, including shows like The Boys. So if you want to be able to have a say in what comes next, that is where you can do it. But yeah, I am in love with this show. Let's go. I have been tweaking the sound. I know I've had some comments saying that it's too quiet. I don't want to make it too loud, because I know sometimes the talking scenes are quieter, and then when you have like a loud action scene, you can't hear what I'm saying. So I'm kind of trying to balance it. It's up a little bit from what it used to be. I'm doing my best. Is this the person that Homelander cost him?
Then I would just have to clean it up.
You would?
Yeah.
It is far too sweet. It's definitely ended in tragedy, which is why he's white the way he is now. He is living the life. Oh, is this what happened to his wife? Yeah, she had a wedding ring on. Is this something bad happening to her? She looks really sad. Or is this just like the last footage of her around? I'm just assuming she's dead from the way they talked about her. And the fact that he's now become a crazy anti-superhero vigilante.
Sounds like you got a little bit of a moisture problem, love.
Oh god.
Security,
This man.
I could stop them getting sued, but a bunch of juice junkies. No one's gonna want them in national defense.
You should just leak it to the media.
I haven't seen translucent around anywhere. You wouldn't happen to know any.
How are you gonna try him for war crimes? He's gonna murder the bloody lot of us before he steps one foot in The Hague.
It's
you
true.
might as well hand the bloody launch.
Son of a bitch. If you even.
You did kill someone. I mean, even if it was unintentional, you did.
Sorry, baby, just champagne showers.
You shouldn't lie to your other
I know,
half.
I'm just kidding. Say something.
You wish you had someone that loved you. I know.
You know, Jean Paul, why work so motherfucking hard if you don't have somebody to go home to and sleep next to at night?
Aww.
I go to sleep next.
Huey's really going to be an asset on this operation right now.
Reggie, come on, let's go. Check these boxes.
Is that a child? Well, it's a woman. She just looks small. They're human traffickers?
God damn it, Frenchie. What the...
We could do with a superhero on the team. Oh, she fits right in. Well, she seems stable. I mean, no wonder, given that she's clearly been treated terribly. Are they smuggling soups?
I don't know, maybe I was just drunk, but
You're a sad little man who needs to die.
intelligent animals. Yeah, that have regional
No one cares.
accents and
I would care if
great
you were,
sense of
like,
humor. I mean,
not a dick, but...
they're hilarious. You know, real creative pricks.
You see, if you learnt maybe that you don't always talk about your own interests and that sometimes you have to talk about other people's interests, maybe you'd do better. But I also want you to die.
I'm the diversity hire.
Really? You are a joke, that is correct.
Just when you think this shit can't get any more horrible.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Get a lot more horrible.
So true.
And these blokes, are photos from the Asian booth with it.
Yeah, back when they had eyeballs.
Yeah, but why?
Back when they had eyeballs.
Who's that then, eh?
Nobody.
It's not Starlight. He doesn't have to show you his phone. You're like a controlling boyfriend.
We hear everything she says. I mean, this is a golden opportunity.
He really cares about Annie. You can see that she's a good person.
Yeah, she's not a bad person.
You can get there quicker. Can I please have the room?
She's not exactly eager about her job in the 7. I want to know more about her.
Yep. If you bring those passengers back alive, not one congressman will have the balls to vote against our bill.
But if you get them all killed, I want to know more about Maeve. Because she's not on board with everything here. I'm very intrigued about what the connection with this girl and the superheroes is. Is it somehow to do with them that they get the drug or what? So he was here to do his little drug delivery. He's a superhero. He could be like, oh, I was in the neighborhood. What's happening here? Don't look in my bag for illegal drugs.
Hey.
Oh my god.
It's not really a good time.
I mean, they are really underfed and abused.
See, if he was just
To be quite
a guy
honest,
trying to support dolphins, I would love him.
I'd like to,
But he's a
you know,
rapist
just
dick.
try to
And
laugh.
he needs to die.
Play to your strengths.
You don't have any strengths.
Me, that I had it, where I was taking it.
Is he doing a side hustle of giving it to those people?
Anything.
Is that it? Like,
You're being paranoid.
he side hustles.
Fucking tell.
Love, true love here. Just break up with him or stab him with your pop claws.
I didn't tell anyone.
She didn't, technically.
But until I do, I gotta get you somewhere safe before Homelander
Do not
finds out.
trust this man. If she's a wronged woman, I support her in her revenge. Maybe not in murdering, but revenge. This is sweet, but also these two characters both have sweet sides. They're both losing their innocence, but they could be in a different show. This could be a really sweet thing to ultimately develop. I don't have any hopes for it here. Plus, he needs a lot more time.
Before? So your first kiss was when you were 18?
There's no shame in not having a first
You're not
kiss.
joking about it, and that's
Ooh, PTSD time. Or just not, I mean, it's not technically PTSD, just sort of trauma flashbacks.
Me out again.
sorry.
He spends most of his free time with his son.
Ooh,
He's got a son?
pull it together, Huey. I know that, you know, I don't support murder. In this show, I'm kind of willing to relax my boundaries a bit, but I mean, they don't need to murder every single person they catch. They could just subdue them. They are overpowered enough to subdue them. Like, if you have the power to easily murder someone, you can easily, like, disarm them. Was it that easy?
You guys.
He's sickening.
Yeah?
Oh, it's not as simple as it seems.
There you go. Just relax.
Fuck. Can you fly a plane? Can you hold a plane up? He couldn't care less. Because he's going to be just fine.
Lift the plane? How?
I knew he was going to get everyone killed.
It's fucking straight. That kind of speed, either the plane goes out.
Try.
I'll punch.
Take everybody one by one.
Yeah. You could take some people.
123 times.
You could take a couple of people.
Think.
The child.
Oh my god, you're leaving. He's leaving.
I'm not.
Homelander, are you going to save us?
Oh, sweetheart, of course I'm gonna save you.
This man is a psychopath.
Save everyone here.
This is really horrible. I already hated the Soups a lot.
Now what? So they can tell the world that we left the rest of them to fucking die?
I knew he wouldn't want that.
No, you stay the fuck back alone.
He is a monster. I hope these people survive to tell everyone the truth. Get out a last minute cell phone video or something. Oh god, this is horrible.
Don't die with them.
Yeah. He didn't leave her with much choice. Brutal. See, Maeve feels this. Maeve, I truly think, is a good person. It's just in this awful situation and maybe hasn't always acted the best. Whereas, obviously, Homelander is just a sociopathic dick who needs to die. And he's not going to die anytime soon, but...
What's with the accent?
What's with yours?
So accurate.
And who told you that, eh?
I'm not arguing with him.
You need to hide, he saw you. Although he doesn't remember faces.
Just trying to get home.
Ooh, and murdering everyone who wronged her. I support this kind of rage.
I'm donating my appearance fee to the Covenant House.
You are literally the nicest person in the city.
She actually is, and she might lose some of that, but
Fuck off and
she
go
is a
home.
good person.
I mean, that's why I do it.
I don't like that they're using her. I mean, I kind of understand it from their point of view. She is one of the Seven, so in that sense she's kind of complicit with the Seven, but she's a very new member of the Seven. And she's not exactly an influential, powerful member of the Seven. And I'm pretty sure they go up, they're anti-bad soups. Now I guess that they kind of rank like bad soups, and then anyone with superpowers who's part of Vought is considered a hostile force rather than like an enemy, maybe, if they haven't proven that they're evil, but I support Starlight.
Superpowers, yet you are a remarkably shitty bowler. You know what I think's happening? I think you're holding back for some weird, not gonna show me up on a first date reason.
First date, hey?
Holy shit.
Oh, they have such a lovely bond.
Yeah, that's
But
great,
life
man.
is just going to be miserable for both of them because they're in the boys.
And the V came from Samaritan's Embrace.
Ziggy was soup charity. What the fuck's that Jesus thumping elastic bastard got to do with it?
I mean, they all have something to do with Compound B by the sound of it. Oh, the music she likes. He's the guy that opened the door.
When I was a boy, my father he stole me from Maman. In Marseille, middle of the night, just broke. I tried to run away so many times.
It's appealing to her with she suffered, he suffered, so he can reach out a hand to her.
I jumped buses, trains.
This is a nice side to Frenchie.
Let me help you.
And a story that didn't end with him killing anyone. Oof. And the channel changed. He did get through to her. Pick up. He's got the gas, good.
So I stepped in. I kicked the guy's ass.
For you.
And he felt emasculated.
Well, I really think it's awesome. But really you. You got...
In an alternate world, she would be so healing for him. And he would be so freeing for her. Moving on so quickly.
Save my spot. I'll be right back.
With a soup of all people. Wonder if Vought have technology that could stop that.
Lamplighter goes and tortures Mallory's grandkids.
I didn't know.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, tell that to Mallory's
You
grandkids.
didn't follow orders.
I thought that meant that they'd left them alone rather than the fact that their kids got killed. My goodness.
What's Sporty Spice up to?
Who?
Sporty fucking Spice. What's she up to?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Because the band broke up.
You know what she's doing?
Yeah, she's married to David Beckham. She's got a lot of fashion lines.
Right, not exactly a growth mark. When they're apart, they're absolute fucking.
This is such a brilliant metaphor.
You put them together. They're the goddamn fucking Spice Girls.
I'm a bit emotional.
How do you know so much about the Spice Girls?
They both have points in the argument, in that Frenchie needs to articulate better that he saw something in her that he need to try to appeal to, etc. But at the same time, if you have a plan, you should stick to it, because she's dangerous. He's stolen one dolphin! My god.
Okay, if I just touch it, will you shut up?
My god. You're a superhero. Is he gonna die trying to save a dolphin? Because I'm here for it. French never. So funny. So not funny. He's so pathetic. It makes me so happy. Train. Oh, a train. It is a train. Bastard. Train. Kill him! Oh, she didn't kill him, but she stopped him. Is it something like her blood makes... Oh no, he brought the... Oh god, he brought it to there, so I don't know. I was going to say, is like she how they make on Humvee.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yep. Good way to try and help her by distracting A-Train.
What if she's a Spice Girl?
I think she's a Spice Girl. What if she's a Spice Girl? It's your friend, man. Oof, nope, did not work.
We have Homelander and Queen Maeve.
Oh my god, is he gonna say if we'd been allowed to do it, they'd be alive? If we'd been called.
They didn't have to die.
You piece of shit.
3 minutes. Women.
The piece of shit does not even describe him. He's just a despicable blob of existence.
Whoever did this to us will hear from all of us.
Maeve, I love you already. I think I love her. I don't know. I'm going with it for now. Despicable blob. Despicable blob of existence. Just leave me feeling riled up. Why don't you, boys? All angry and bitter. So, yet again, every episode. It's a bit like, I like that they had Huey say, every time I think it can't possibly get worse, it does. And the actions of the boys, no, the actions of the Supes, you think it can't get worse, it does. Yeah, the whole thing with, you know, they were going to try and do a glorious plane rescue and be like, see, you should have always hired us. Part of me is almost like, did Homelander intentionally cause it to be destroyed? You know, it was his carelessness in lasering the guy. He didn't need to do that, especially as they were too late to stop him shooting the pilot. So not only did he cause the plane to crash by making it so that there was no chance that they could fly it to safety, he destroyed everything. And then just the callous way he was with the passengers. I think, to an extent, if he truly is unable to fly a plane, you know, a true superhero, someone that deserved that name, would have tried. He would have flown out of the plane and tried to hold it up, tried something, and if it had failed, would have been devastated by that. Whereas he was like, oh, can't do that, no, time's go, I'll have to know there's no possible way I could possibly know, just can't do that. And yeah, whereas Maeve, you could see that she is visibly torn up by that fact. We've already seen in the previous episode that she didn't appreciate Homelander killing people when she could have disarmed him. I just think that a bit with these terrorists, like, they were just murdering them. Now, again, these were hijackers, they were terrorists, they were not good people. I'm not saying you need to, like, give them a parade, but if you're a superhero, you can probably just disarm them, or knock them out, rather than murder. Not that it would have mattered anyway, because the plane crashed. Whereas, like, the one in the cockpit, I could kind of understand more, like, trying to stop an imminent threat. But anyway, regardless of that, Maeve was not okay with him murdering someone who'd already been subdued and surrendered. And then the innocent people on the plane, he was all fine to stoke up their adoration, to be like, oh, I'm the one that saved you, oh no, it was you, and just sickening. Like, to be honest, if Supergirl did that, I would be like, a little bit like, oh, Chitikara, calm yourself down. And it took a little girl to be like, Maeve, for him to be like, Queen Maeve. That she's just the fact that he was like totally unbothered that he was letting them all die. Like, oh well, we tried, we failed. Without a shred of remorse, and then without any hesitation was able to turn that around and act like he was broken up, that they were dead, and that if only they'd got there in time. Whereas maybe if the normal response had got there in time, they'd all be alive. Just makes me sick. Like, I'm not looking forward to editing that scene. I don't particularly want to watch the scene where they're all about to die again, because it was just too horrible to contemplate. And like the little girl, and you know, Maeve thinking, well, at least we can save this one person, and that was what I would think in her position, if nothing else, you know. When she was saying 5 people to safety, he could have flown as many as possible. He could have been like, this is awful, the plane is crashing, there is nothing we can do, I can't fly it anywhere, but I'm going to be able to save 12 of you. You know, that is something. At least that wouldn't be, but you know, that wouldn't be spun on the news. They would appear as failing rather than being heroic. You wouldn't spin that as, oh, we managed to save some people, but that was just brutal and he just couldn't care less. I really hope some of his actions are eventually, surely have got to come after him. You know, surely we're eventually going to get proof of something like this. I think Maeve may snap at some point, though I don't know whether she would be able to, in a sense. Like, is she going to be able to snap and break free from the things she doesn't like? Or is she kind of going to snap and make it very self-destructive, or just give up? Like, I'm worried about Maeve. But I really like her character so far. I think, to me, she almost seems like someone that is similar to Starlight, in that maybe joined the Seven with good intentions, with truly wanting to be a hero and do good, and has just been worn down by time in this corrupt system. With also, she has no outside support. I mean, none of the Seven seem, well, I mean, she doesn't seem to have anyone that she goes to. We've learned, as I'll get to, the translucent had a son, but you know, I think Annie needs friends outside of the Seven to try and stay sane. If Huey was not working with the boys against her, they'd have such a good bond, but yes. So I still despise him. I actually despise Homelander more than I did before, which is shocking. And Maeve has kind of, I don't, like, again, we don't know enough about her, but I do, for now, I really, really like her. She is a character I really feel concerned for. I'm stressed about her life and what she's going through and where she's going to go next. So then we have, obviously, Huey and Annie. And they are adorable. Like, they have such a connection. Like, it sparks. And I definitely think that even if you take this whole plot out of it, if it was just 2 young people meeting, it's too soon after the death of his girlfriend for him to launch into anything too serious. But into a friendship that kind of flirts around the idea of one day being together is different. I think it's completely human and natural to feel like you are betraying the person you lost by moving on, especially by moving on quickly. But everyone heals differently, and he's doing... I think his I mean, she wouldn't want him to be miserable forever. She might not want him to move on with someone immediately. And I think the fact that Annie is a superhero is going to make it, the fact that his girlfriend was murdered by a superhero will obviously make it harder for him to justify moving on with a superhero. But that would definitely be the thing that would push him to use Annie rather than just focus on the bond that he's definitely been struggling with. The idea of using her for their purpose, because he thinks, well, no, she's actually a good person, you know, you say that she's the best person in the whole city, the best person, the nicest person in the whole city, the kindest person, like, she's just good. And so he doesn't want to use her, but she is right there in the superheroes. I think it's interesting because we need some kind of a middle ground between eradicating superheroes and Vought, because, you know, this is awful, this would also not be awful. There are superheroes that are just people that happen to people with powers. That does not make them some sort of gods, it also does not make them all monsters. Annie is proof of that. So I'm intrigued. I think we're definitely going to hit a point where she finds out he bugged her phone. Maybe there's going to be more times where he's going to use her for information, or he's going to use her for access, and that's going to turn into more of a problem where she's going to feel betrayed by him, and that might even drive her further towards the superhero side rather than towards the boys, which I'm stressed about, because this isn't a show that gives you fluffy rainbow times. This is a show that gives you stress and you never know what's going to happen, and all the characters are going to suffer. So their scenes were weird because they were really sweet. Like, it was, the shipper in me was like, one day I could ship this, and then the part of me was like, but you're watching the boys and everyone is miserable and he's using her and she doesn't know that that his girlfriend was murdered by a superhero, and goodness knows if she's going to get sucked into Vought even more, you know. I still love the world building, the fact that you kind of see casual advert, like they built up that, like, he's there for like SeaWorld and, you know, the religious camp where they indoctrinate people some more, and Annie's going to go and do that. It's all very like, it's fascinating. I love it. So I think I'm really enjoying their connection is so genuine, but I don't think it's the kind of show where a connection like that is going to be is going to, what's the word? It's going to, like, not foster. It's going to build. It's going to find a safe haven to grow and develop. I think it's going to come to a sticky end, probably. But I also don't think Annie, and I may eat my words in a few episodes, is ever going to be like, woo, Homelander, woo, everyone, this corrupt place is my favourite place to be. I think she may well try to change it from within if possible. in the long run of the show, if she doesn't end up on the side of the boys. Same with Maeve, I'd like to think. But no matter what, it was kind of nice to see their connection. It's sort of what they both need in their lives, is someone that's a bit of stable normality who likes them for who they are. It's just, he isn't telling her everything. And I mean, she hasn't told him the full extent of how bad things are, but I think were he to open up about what happened to his girlfriend, they could form a huge bond, but he's too busy doing his revenge stuff. So then we have the Deep. Kevin. Kevin needs to die. I'm sorry. No Kevins deserve him having the same name as them. Like, he is your stereotypical, he's a bit like, you know, the guy that couldn't talk to her after she beat up his bully. But he's little, he's looked down on, he's insecure, he feels small, so he immediately tried to assert his dominance over Starlight to make her feel small, to make him feel big and powerful, because that's what rape is. Rape isn't about sex or pleasure, rape is about power and control. And he immediately wanted to make it so that she would feel like she was the smallest fish, and he, probably literally in his case, he is just, he's just pathetic, you know. I mean, if Homelander is what would I call him? A blob of a despicable blob of existence. He's like a pathetic glimmer of existence, you know. He makes no difference to the world, good or bad, beyond small ripples. I love the fact that he's obsessed with fish. He's like, but the dolphins, I was trying to tell them all about the dolphins. You know, if you truly were thinking, oh, I can't connect with these people, I want to connect, maybe the way you start that isn't by talking about your own interests exclusively. Maybe you need to talk about their interests a little bit, and then, you know, if they were to truly be your friends, they would then want to know about your interests. But initially, I mean, hey, it's not ever going to happen. I'm intrigued he's going to get in some kind of trouble, because the Deep broke a dolphin out of Ocean World and then killed it. And it was like, friendship lasts forever, and the dolphin's just like, no. The truck. Oh, I don't need the Deep. Now, you know what, that scene was amazing, but if the Deep had been the one that thrown out the windshield and been hit by a truck, I would have enjoyed that a lot more. So I'm hoping that this is the beginning of his demise, because, yeah, he needs to go. I think, like, as much as I want Homelander to die too, the Deep is an easier target for me to pick off, personally, in my vendetta. So yeah, he tried to make himself seem big, but again, his seeming big, his mission was the dolphin. Okay. And he got it killed, so yeah. And the dolphin was a pervert. This is a weird show. So then the big plot line of the show, which I have saved for last to talk about, is their investigation into Compound V. A-Train, who literally was doing his A-Train, but it's so interesting. Like, I can't wait to properly riddle out how everything's connected, because you've got obviously Vought and their people of Compound V. Now, the minute that the senator dude, I can't remember if he was a senator or a governor, I think he was a governor, mentioned the Compound V, Homelander thought that was serious enough to go and murder him, and the woman knew about it. So that definitely suggests that it is something that Vought is aware of. Maybe Vought, and maybe even Vought supports, because if it boosts superheroes, it's going to make them look better, it's going to do better sales, etc. But I don't know. A-Train runs around with it. He has it in a little red bag, and he runs it from somewhere. Sometimes stores at his girlfriend's house, and he runs it to that place, that shop. And in the back room of that shop, they had a super-powered woman captive. That is weird. Does he, like, part of me was thinking, do they somehow use her body, her blood, to make the Compound V? And that is what, so like, that's the place you get the Compound V from, rather than vice versa, maybe? Definitely she was smuggled in, and potentially tricked and thought she was going to get a better life. But I'm still very interested in where Compound V comes from, why the great corporation of Vought is kind of doing this, like, drug smuggling in, like, a little gang of, like, drug gang. Like, those two things seem very far apart. You know, you've got, like, a kind of corporate gang and a normal gang. So I'm intrigued to riddle all of that out, and how much do they know it is, or is it different? Did they just happen to have an evil, a superhero captured? And he is selling some Compound V off on the side to make a bit of extra money for Vought. I don't know. But why she was there captive, and what they did to her to make her this way. Now, was she locked up because she was just an unstable person? Maybe her powers just made her mentally into someone that just wanted to murder, but she was very much murdering people she had a grudge against, the men that held her captive, the women that smuggled her, sold her, did whatever terrible things she did. And then she wasn't running around committing murders at the train station, she was just trying to get home. And I think having some men follow you everywhere you go, you'd probably still view them as a threat and would struggle to trust. And she could have probably killed Frenchie in one go. I think she was trying to kill A-Train. That would have been brilliant. So I really would like to get to know more about her. I don't know now whether she's going to be savable, whether she'll be a Spice Girl, whether she'll join the team, as much as I think we could do with a team or with a superhero on our team. But I'm interested to kind of see maybe if they... I imagine they're going to have to take her somewhere and lock her up themselves. And if they do that, I don't know that she's going to ever trust them in the state she's in her kind of terror. So I'm just intrigued to see what's going to happen next with that. It was really good to see the softer, or a more open and honest part of Frenchie, because Frenchie, I enjoy him as a character a lot up to this point, but you know, he'll randomly tell a story of his dad trying to kill him, which we do now know that was not an isolated incident, his dad was just abusive, which, yeah, but, and how he's murdered so many people, and he thinks about, like, the first one he killed was a woman in a shoe, like, he's quite a strange character, you know, he's not someone that I would want to be left alone in a dark alley with, as a character, but kind of hearing from him really seeing in this vulnerable woman, someone that had been hurt and was suffering, he wanted to reach out to her, to connect with her, to tell her something he'd never told anyone, to make a real connection with, instinctually, was honestly fascinating to me, to see that facet of his character, and I'm very excited to kind of explore it a bit further. Just as the show goes on, we will hopefully explore all of his characters further. So I've enjoyed that a lot. I think we've seen that, you know, Huey, we've seen his very human side, his real side, and the fact that he's okay with murdering occasionally. Oh, I didn't mention the fact that he is very messed up with the fact that Translucent had a child, because yeah, that is messed up, that he's orphaned a child. I mean, they're going up against the superheroes, he murdered him, I don't know what he expected, but I did kind of, that was an interesting twist. But we know that side of him, as they call him, Mother's Milk, he definitely, like, you know, we've seen that he is trying to atone for things that went wrong in previous missions. We learned more about that. The children, the grandchildren, I assume when they said about Mallory's grandchildren that Mallory had just died and left the grandchildren and they were grieving him, or as though they were killed. Missions that had gone horribly wrong in this, and so he was trying to make things right by doing good, by helping young people in need. I mean, yeah, they're offenders, but they can still be rehabilitated. Words are escaping me today, I'm sorry. They can still be helped, and doing that. I don't like that he's lying to his wife, but I think they have a really sweet, like, they were a strong relationship, that maybe he should start telling her the truth. If this is something that means that much to him, she should either understand, or they shouldn't be together. But we've seen different sides of them. I liked the little glimpse of Butcher's wife, and the happy life they had. Something bad happened to do with Homelander there. I'm imagining they're going to slowly draw the story out. You know, we heard her name last episode, we kind of saw her this episode, and he was dreaming about her. So we kind of have seen that he's been driven by this force, this loss, or whatever happened there. So we kind of can see that, whereas now with Frenchie we get a little idea of what's driving him. So I'm really intrigued by that. I mean, I can't wait to learn more about this girl. Frenchie was very smart with, oh look, it's A-Train, to help her escape, etc. Like, there's just a lot of really good stuff here. So yeah, the last couple of points I vaguely mentioned, but I would like to talk about in more detail before I forget, is the fact that Translucent had a child, which, in two aspects of that. The first one is that kind of suggests that the superheroes can have a private life, that superheroes can have a life off the tracks. So in an alternate universe, Annie would be able to have a relationship with someone like Huey, and he would just not be known about. It would be kept secret. That is similar to A-Train's girlfriend, but she's also a superhero, so she probably thinks, oh, we could be a glamorous couple together. But that was interesting. And then from Huey's point of view, it does change things. It kind of changes Translucent from a evil, perverted monster into someone's dad. That humanizes him. That gives an element of, you know, yeah, maybe I killed someone that deserved it, but I caused suffering to an innocent child. That is definitely going to alter Huey's perception on things. I definitely think we're going to continue to see the eradication of Huey's innocence, or goodness. Like, I think the Huey we first met would be very much like, do things by the book, or morally speaking, would want to do the right thing and be good, whereas he's losing that more and more. The world is beating that out of him to an extent. Like, it's not like, I don't dislike him for it. This is the kind of show where I'm more lax with my morals. And probably to an extent we'll have that with Annie, but in a very different kind of way. And then I wanted, I had another thing I was going to talk about. Well, A Train and his girlfriend, yes. They are very, I don't enjoy them. He's quite, he's strange. They have a strange relationship. I do not trust him when he says he loves her, but then part of me is like, maybe he does in his own weird way, but he definitely thinks he deserves better than her. He definitely thinks he is better than her. I am concerned about where he took her. I don't know for sure that it was somewhere safe, but yeah, there's just so much going on, and he immediately suspected her. I don't think he doesn't believe her. That's just a very strange dynamic, but I'm impressed that she didn't tell him the truth. I hope she's going to stick to her own resolve. I mean, she killed someone, so I'm not like, woo, go Popclaw, but she could have killed him. Twice women could have killed A-Train in this episode, and twice they did not. So yeah, this episode was, I guess, quite female of the species centered. I like that Butcher's gone to the CIA, Homeland Security, FBI, whatever her organisation is, and that might have some official sanctioning for this mission if they can get enough hard evidence. So no matter what, overall, this show is it's moving in a really positive direction, in the sense that things are going terribly wrong, but things are building and we're expanding on the characters and the situations, and I am really enjoying it. But it's also a show where I still really don't feel like I have a solid idea of what's going next. I mean, in some shows, by the nature of them, you know that, oh, their mission is to stop this person, and so first they have to go to here and here and here. Whereas this is very much a show where things are flexible, things change. You know, the next episode could feature, I don't even know, it's so many different possibilities. So yeah, I really, really did enjoy this episode. A quick reminder that if you are watching this on YouTube, you can see this reaction unedited up on Patreon, along with all of my reactions to every show, and along with the next 2 episodes early. You can also get the next episode's edited version at a lower tier a week early. So episode 5, that's the next one, is already up on Patreon as well. If you would like to check that out, it means so much to me, everyone that's following me on Patreon. Thank you so much. It means even more than it would normally in these stressful COVID times where I have not left my house since March. Life is stressful. So yeah, I am loving this show. I am stressed by this show. It's not a show. You know, I finished watching The Mandalorian and I'm like, peace with the world, everything feels good, and like Baby Yoda's in my life. I finished this show and I'm thoroughly entertained. I loved that episode, but I'm also like, the real world is dark and depressing and this world is even worse. In some ways. But no, I love this show. I'm rambling, I'm sorry. It's one of those days. I look a mess, I feel a mess. My head is all over the place today. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.